course, I've mentioned before, we have also have our sister open mic, poetry open mic, Hendersonville, at Shakedown Lounge every Thursday at 7:30 7:30 every Thursday. Every second Thursday, we've been holding our special spotlight open mic on poets of color. And one of the extraordinary souls I've met through doing that was Cauley. And tonight, my dear friend Robert Zachary is here to help me pay tribute to Crystal and speak a few words for y'all. So if y'all would help me in giving a big warm welcome for Robert Zachary.
With your poetry from the heart, it sort of made me want to go out in the car and get my poetry book. Your poems is just feel it, make you want to shout.
Woo! Thank you.
I don't have on here socks.
Yeah!
We came prepared.
Amen. Ever since my son got his PhD in education in May from Evangel University, and he was out there in Kansas, and it's not many of us fine-looking folk out there, and so they had to choose him to sit up on the platform, and my son sit up there without any socks. So I said, if he did that, maybe I can.
Yeah!
Evangel University is Assemblies of God church. And they almost had, I had never been to a graduation like that. They had a praise service, and if they had kept going, I know I was going to hit the flowing color step. You know what I'm saying? But I feel good tonight. I'm here not to do poetry, but last October, I approached Caleb, and I told him about an idea. And I said, listen, I live in Flat Rock, and I don't always get to Asheville to the Kava bar, and thanks for bringing it to the Shakedown Lounge. Amen. And I said, us black poets, what do you think about the idea to create poetic verses of color and just give us one Thursday out of the month? And before I finished, Caleb was jumping up from the table saying, hell yeah. And so basically, I had worked with poet Tony Robles, and Tony is now at what's the University of Lenore Rhymes? Yes. And he has an MFA. And I pulled him aside, and Crystal is the mover and shaker in Hendersonville. And I met Crystal in 2017 at the Word Fest with her dynamic poetry. And one of her poems that we're presenting on Saturday is My Head Wrap. Every time you saw Crystal, it's similar to me. You ain't gonna see what's under here. I got some locks now. Amen.
Amen.
But I pulled those two together and I said, listen, Caleb has approved poetic verses. Let's start it up. And I think we have beat the crowd every Thursday of every month since October.
Yeah.
And had some grand services in poetry, not competition, but just some good down-home poetry. But Krista is a move-and shaker in Hendersonville, and I mean, she would wake you up in the middle of the night talking about all the ideas she had, and she started the Black Business Network in Hendersonville. She started something that's so profound. I live in Flat Rock, and some of you might know Flat Rock and Ziconia. There's a museum on the main street of Hendersonville, and it's called the People's Museum. And it talks about the kingdom. And Krista came up with this idea, and when I saw it, I said, no, this needs to be in the Smithsonian. But have you ever heard of Queensland? It was 75 former slaves in 1865 who left Mississippi, coming to North Carolina to establish a kingdom. And they had a king and a queen. And by the time they got here, the number was 300. And they had surveyed the area, and they started a company because Vanderbilt hadn't got his thing together, and the only thing you had through this area to get through the West was stagecoaches. And these black folk started a stagecoach company and became first and foremost in all of America. And doggone it, ain't nobody in here ever heard of it, and I had never heard of it, and they don't teach it in school. And this woman had grafted this museum from the ground. And as usual, no credit. But she kept on going. And so it was projects like these that she instituted constantly and coming with ideas. And not too long ago, I said, well, I was at the Kava bar in Asheville. She said, yeah, I was thinking it's about time for poetic verses to go to the Kava bar. And you tell Caleb we'll be there in September. So she leaves a legacy. And 2 weeks ago, her daughter, 16 years old, found her in the bathroom, and she was taken to Pardee, and they did not revive her. And we are having, a lot of people say a funeral, but black folks say a homegoing celebration, amen? And we're having that on this Saturday at 12 o'clock. We start at 12 with the wake, and what we want to do, and I'm talking to any drummer in here, we're going to have a drumming poetry session to honor her.
Yeah.
And they have found her poems, and some have written poems to her, and we're gonna drum and read poetry and I don't know what else for 1 hour before the services start. And after that, we plan to have a Christian activist African homegoing for Crystal Cauley. And all is invited. It will be at the Grace Lutheran Church. What we want to do is to carry on her legacy. We want to carry on her legacy because she was a great person, and we want to see to it. Her daughter wants to go to Spelman. You know Spelman, right?
Yeah.
Amen. And she told me about 2 years ago, I would give anything to go to Spelman. I said, you going? Amen. We started a GoFundMe, and the person who started it said $11,000, and that was done in a few days, and then they extended it to 18,000, and it's climbing on. I said, well, let me get my hand on it. I'm gonna put about 50 on there. You see what I mean? Because we need to support each other, and that's what it's all about. I want us to concentrate on the legacy. So look for us, Caleb, in September, and we'll crowd the place out. And we'll just bring all of our badass poetry, okay?
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Y'all please keep it going for Robert Zachary.
Amen. And I promise to do sassafras and tan into your ass. Thank you.
I'm holding you to it. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.